How's it going, Pops?
Oh, fine. Everything's good. How are you doing today?
Good, man. Good. Can't complain. Before we actually started recording, you and I were talking about the rhythm of life and how
Right.
being in alignment is basically would you say it's the key or it's the guide?
I recognize in the last few weeks that it seems when things are going well for you that you have developed your inner rhythm or alignment with what's going on in your life.
Right.
For example, if you like your job, there seems to be a rhythm to it that feels good. You seem to, be able to get up in the morning, get dressed, have a kind of a routine that works for you. That's pretty enjoyable. It don't seem to be a lot of distractions, a lot of uh, challenges on a day to day basis,
Right.
which makes it really tolerable to do that. So when you're in alignment, you get used to that, and it feels good. So that kind of means you're in alignment or your rhythm's going real well. Things just work well. But I think the flip side of that is when you're not in alignment or not in rhythm, when you hit all these problems constantly.
Right.
This happens, that happens, coworkers get on your nerves, whatever. Then just use an example of a work. It just doesn't go smooth.
Agreed.
And it becomes more of a consistent uh, problem than it becomes more of a consistent joy.
Yeah. Well, because you're fighting the
So
natural flow, right?
you fight a natural flow, and at some point you have to recognize, wait a minute, something's not going on here. I shouldn't be having to fight um, and be unhappy every day
Agreed.
just to live, just to make a living.
Agreed. Most people are so used to fighting it, or so used to
Hmm.
the normalcy of fighting that
Hmm.
they're most people are like, well, this is just what it's about. This is I'd rather put up with this than start something new and it completely fails and puts me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm. But the thing is, that is true. Most people say, I'd rather, they begin to think that the struggle is normal.
Right.
This is just a normal part of life that I have
Right.
to deal with. But in my, experience of, been around on the planet for a while, that's not correct.
Right.
You shouldn't have to struggle an enormous amount on your day-to-day activity. And not to mention you're not going to have a challenge from time to time,
Right.
but you're not going to have struggles every day.
True.
If you do, that means that you're doing the wrong thing.
Completely agree. It's
That makes
funny
sense.
it's funny the way you just worded that. It's time to make a change because literally the next question has to do with that very thing.
Okay.
I actually had a viewer email and say, once you find out things need to change, are there any steps that you guys take to help project you in the right direction?
Okay, read that one more time.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty broad. Once you find out things need to change, are there any steps that you guys take to help project you in the right direction? Basically, well, hey, I know this is not working out, but where do I even begin to make this change? Some people are just like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And that's a question that it takes probably a lot of experience or a lot of time to even understand.
Right,
Um, how it may even be done.
right,
Well, one of the things that I do when like we talked about rhythm or in alignment, and like she said, or he said that the a person said, what do you do when you know it's out of alignment? It's not rhythm. How do you make what steps do you take to try to get to the next level?
right.
I think that's the way the question is coming out.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
so I think what you have to do is you have to, first of all, you have to make up in your mind, okay, it's time for me to move and get settled with the fact that it's time for me to do something else.
Right,
In other words, you need to get your mindset in one direction. In other words, you don't want to be saying, well, I feel like moving today, and then the next day you say, well, I think it's not too bad here. I can handle it.
Right.
And then, 2 days later, somebody do something and say, well, I got to move again. One of the first things you have to do is set your mind to the fact that it's time for me to make a move.
Yep. I agree.
That's the first thing you have to do. You have to have an intent that it's time for me to do something else. Once you develop that intent and you know what it is, I'll do what I call, if you're talking about just say a career job, something so to speak.
Right.
I get myself a vision board. I take a circle and I make the circle, and inside of the circle is what I want. Outside of the circle is what I don't want.
Okay. Okay.
So I put it inside the circle, and what I mean by this, we're not with because rhythm and being in alignment is not necessarily a money thing.
Agreed.
I think that's the thing that people start with is the money, and they quickly find out that the money don't make you happy.
Yep.
So the first thing you don't want to start with, I want X amount of dollars a year. I mean, you got to have a certain amount of money, but that shouldn't be your goal.
Yeah. Agreed.
Is a 25% increase because that 25% increase may not bring you what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I do is I take that circle. Inside that circle, I write the characteristics of the next thing I want to do. What are the characteristics of it?
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
And I write those down. The characteristics of I want to be on. Say for example, I want a job where I don't have to drive an hour a day.
Gotcha.
That might be one of the characteristics of it. And you might want to say, I want a job that gives me a little more freedom during my work day.
Gotcha.
I want a position that I have a management understanding number two enough to let me be myself.
True. What I like about where you're going with this is it's realistic expectations that will actually impact
Right.
your happiness. That's exactly what the things I was doing wrong for the first half of my life was the opposite of what you're proposing. If you job, marriage, relationship, whatever you're trying to improve, if you say, for instance, my marriage is not doing that great, if I sit there and go, well, if I can take my wife on vacations every quarter of the year, that'll make her happy. Like, that's not necessarily
Right.
true, and that's not even feasible.
No. No, it's not true.
But if how you're proposing, if I make realistic characteristics, for instance, if I say, I probably should come home and actually ask her how she's doing. Have a conversation with her to see where she's at mentally in her world, and take a moment to actually absorb that.
Right. So, staying in line with what we were saying, say that you're not happy with a job. One of the characteristics of that job, I need to be able to get off on a certain time where I communicate with my spouse.
Right.
I don't need a lot of pressure on me where I'm working at 8 or 9 o'clock at night on call.
Right.
That's generating stress between me and my spouse.
Yep.
So one of the things in the circle would be I need freedom to spend time with my family.
Because then what you'll find out is you get that stuff, and then the bonus of it is if you have more time with your family, work starts becoming less stressful. When work comes around and says, hey, we're actually giving 5% raises this year, that's a bonus. And then your happiness
That's a
just
bonus,
goes
right.
escalates. Yeah.
Right, because be using the hypothetical situation. If you married and you got 2 kids, the kids don't care how much money you make when you come home.
Right.
If you come home looking like Frankenstein every day,
Right.
complaining about everything, bad attitude, the kids don't care about. They care about, Dad sure is not happy. This is
Exactly.
not fun.
Exactly. No, that's
I'd rather Dad. Go ahead.
no. I was gonna say I love the answer that you give to put the circle scenario is so like very visually accurate, because if
Right.
you put what you want in that circle with the characteristics that are realistic, And then
Mm-hmm.
everything outside that circle is stuff that you don't need to be focusing on, whether it be a coworker with a bad attitude, uh,
Right.
long
Right.
hours.
Right. And if you a vision when you want to put that out circle, fine, you can do that
Right.
to remind you. But the thing that the emphasis is on what you want inside the circle. Basically, you want, like I was saying, you want a management team that understands you. You want a management team that lets you be yourself.
Right.
You would like a position where you might have the ability to grow if you feel like it.
Yeah.
You want to be a position that if you produce, then they might recognize you.
Yeah. I like it. We,
You want something that with a co-workers that are trying to go somewhere.
hmm
And you put in a circle the thing that you want,
Yeah.
thing that you like to make that makes you happy when you are at work.
Agreed. Because even I made the mistake
Hmm.
of, having a job and going, man, I deserve more money, or, I need to be talked to in this kind of respect. And then at the end of the
Right.
day, I was like, the money I'm making is actually allowing me to do what I want to in life. So why am I complaining about that? And then
Right.
my job that I'm doing it well because I know it. So why am I complaining about that?
Hmm.
I'm already better off than half the people in the world. you know?
Hmm. Yeah. So and in some cases, you might need to reevaluate how you think about what you're doing.
True. True.
Where you might need to in that circle, you might need to put these are the things I like about a job, and if 10 of those things show up in that circle, you might say, I might need to change my attitude then.
I agree. I agree. Because,
Because
yeah,
some of the things I think I want are already in there. It's just me not appreciating it and not being mature enough
indeed.
to understand where I'm at. And I just want to make a move. But if those things are already in that circle that what you're looking for, where are you going?
That was one of the hardest things for me to realize is that I was always trying to make changes based on what should be coming to me, what things should be
Hmm.
changing around me for me,
Hmm.
when 90% of the stuff was how my attitude and how I reflected or responded to situations, you know?
Right. Well, it's interesting you bring that up because one of the things that we're talking about here in our conversation is one of the things that we're trying to understand is uh, how do I achieve happiness?
Right, right.
Okay, and really, to be honest with you, the only way you achieve happiness, you got to grow up.
That's true.
You got to become mature because what you find out is a lot of things you're blaming on somebody else is not their problem, it's yours.
Yep, completely agree.
You're saying, well, this person caused me this problem, this person caused me this problem, I don't like this and I don't like this. Well, it's kind of like that big wheel on Wheel of Fortune
Yes,
that you spin.
yes.
Well, 90% of the time in life, when you spin that wheel, it comes back to you.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's, she did this or he did this. I don't make enough money. I don't do this. But you spin that wheel, it comes back to you, and that you say is, well, your attitude caused that.
Right,
You
right.
saying that you want, you saying you need more money, but every time the boss asks you to do something, you snap off with a bad attitude,
Mm-hmm.
and you
It's
think they're supposed to reward you for that.
right. And it is true. The Wheel of Fortune example is so true because one person goes up to that wheel and will spin it with enthusiasm, right?
Right,
And
right,
that wheel will spin, and you're like, "Good Lord, when's it going to stop?"
right.
And then the next person will go up to the wheel and they just barely spin it. It's like,
It's
wait,
barely spinning right.
yeah, it's like you're not gonna get anything if you. Of course, you're only going to get not what you think. You just barely move the wheel.
Right. So in one case, one is over aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, undergrads, one's putting too much energy in there. Wait a minute, you don't have to spin the wheel like it is the world now.
Right.
But
Right.
and the other person like, hey, you got to put some energy in here.
Exactly.
But the way to do it is just spin the wheel like it's naturally made to spin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just spin the wheel. You don't have to go to one extreme or the other because it's still gonna land in the same spot
Exactly.
for you.
And no matter what comes out of it, you got to deal with it regardless, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I
Nah.
think that for me, a lot of things that I was, and this is kind of with that question, but a lot of things that I was when I read a lot of reason I was not achieving happiness because it was the way I was thinking.
Right. Right.
Um, because happiness or your life is determined by the way you think, the way you act, and the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice those things, it has started with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
The way you think, the way you act, and the way you feel.
Yeah.
It didn't start with your boss.
Right. Right.
Now, if the way you think, the way you act, and the way you feel is always being challenged by somebody, then that's maybe something you got to do something with.
Right. And that
In other
is
words,
where it gets a little touchy.
right now, if somebody's always trying to, if you got a co-worker, somebody you deal with, they're always trying to make you feel bad,
Mm-hmm.
that's something you got to deal with
Right. And it's
because that
easy if it's a
transfers from,
coworker because you can kind of
right,
just that's the coworker. Not gonna let them
yeah,
affect me. But when it comes to
right,
family, which I know a lot of people listening will say, "Well, I can't just cut my sister off, or I can't just cut my mom off." I mean, that's kind of hard to do. And it's like we're not necessarily saying that's the answer, but backing off a little bit and allowing yourself to breathe while they do what they need to do to heal, and you basically
right.
becoming the not the what do you say when you're the person that's always the one reaching out? You might
You're
want
not
to
the go-to person all the time.
right. You may want to
Person,
be the
you're not
receiving
their
end. You know.
right. You're not their counselor. Or
Yeah.
that they call you all the time.
Right.
And I mean, you might have to establish boundaries. Say,
Right.
I care about mom, but mom, we can only talk once every week.
Right.
I
And
can't
people
talk to
seem
you every day.
yeah, and people seem to think that's a bad thing. It's like it absolutely isn't.
Hmm.
We come into this world with boundaries. You know,
Right, right.
first thing
We
we do
do.
when we
I
come into this world is we cry because we're like, you've just taken me out of my comfort zone, and I'm telling you that
right.
right now. So we just need
I
to
don't like
continue
it.
doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
You
So
know,
give me time. Um, yeah. But
precisely.
so going back to that question, I think that one thing you have to do is you have to establish if you consider a move, you have to establish what are the characteristics of the next place you want to go,
Gotcha.
and you need to start with what makes you happy.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, like I said, first thing you have to do is you have to make up your mind that I need to leave where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's time for me to make that move, and you have to have the courage to say, do I have the courage to do it?
Hmm.
And then once you establish, yeah, I have the courage to do it. I know I need to do it. You go in there and you draw your vision board and put inside the thing that you want, and you concentrate on that. And then what you do is you start um, openly looking for things to come towards you. Because usually, my experiences with the universe is basically when you're trying to make a move,
Hmm.
one door will open for you,
I
and
like
that'll
it.
be the door you're supposed to go through.
Yeah, and it'll be pretty
And usually,
obvious, right?
something will happen. It'll be somebody will call you. You'll get a text. You'll see something. You'll hear
Right.
something. But it won't be no real hard thing to do.
Right.
It won't be a struggle. You'll see something. You'll hear something. A friend, coach, some worker will better recommend something, or something will happen, and that door will open, and you'll say, "Okay, let me think about this," and you'll walk through it. And before you know it, you're in that spot
Hmm.
that you were looking for. But the good thing about being in alignment or being in your in the right path. When that door open, it's only going to be one door to open.
Yep, that's exactly
It won't.
true.
It won't be three.
Right,
This is not
right.
like where you gotta pick a door, pick between one, two, and three. What door you want? You won't have that.
Because the universe
You'll
also
have
realizes, listen, you got to do this in steps. So we're not going to give you five
right,
options. We're going to lead you through
right,
this first door, and you got to decide if you want to
hmm
walk through it or not.
right.
Yeah,
And then
no,
when you walk through that door, you realize, okay, I'm in the right place. And then once you look at your vision board, you say, okay, now that I'm in here, I need to raise my frequency. So I'm doing the things that I need to do to get these things to happen.
indeed, indeed,
I can't just expect everything to come to me.
right.
In other words, if I was tired of my other job and I had a bad attitude, change your attitude.
Hmm. Hmm.
Try to be a little friendlier. Try to be a little more energetic when you go in the morning.
Exactly.
Show some energy.
And to that point,
Um,
if you haven't done all that and you've exhausted uh, basically all avenues, that's when it's time for you to go. It's time for you to.
right. It's
You
time for you
can't
to go.
force
Right.
it,
Right.
right? You can't force it.
Right.
Yeah.
But so once you do that, you better develop that vision board.
Hmm.
Develop the fact that you know you gotta go.
Hmm.
And then once you do that, you raise your frequency. Say, I expect that to happen.
Right.
I expect this to happen for me.
Right. Because
And then
I'm a
once you
full
do that,
believer. Uh huh. Uh huh.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm a full believer, and I used to not believe in this, but once you put your mind to something, and just like you said, if the universe is going to open that door for you, it's so obvious. It's like,
Yeah,
for
it will.
example, you haven't heard from a friend in 3 years. You think about
Mm-hmm.
this said friend. Next day they text you. Next day they call you.
Right,
you know,
right,
or you think
right,
about something with a job or something like that. Next day that opportunity is presented to you. It's like that's completely universe's way of saying, "Yep, here's the door. Walk through it if you want to, or stay where you want to be."
right. I had a situation like that happen. I was thinking of a relative the other day, and I hadn't talked to him in maybe 2, 3 weeks or a month or whatever.
Hmm.
And I was calling them, and as I was calling this person, they was calling me.
Yep,
And the phone went to voicemail, and then they called right back and said, "Were you calling me?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I was just calling you."
that's hilarious, man.
How likely is that to happen
Exactly,
with the way the clock works and the way
exactly.
time is for us to be in the same sequence to be calling each other at the exact same time?
You nailed it. It goes right back to
So
the
that
alignment.
tells you that, yeah, that tells me it's alignment.
Hmm.
That's what somebody's supposed to be doing that day.
Right. And a lot of people sit there and go,
Uh,
it's just coincidence. It's like if you look at everything as coincidence, you'll never see that door opening, because that door
well,
opening. Mhm.
yeah, in biggest world we in, it's hard to get a coincidence.
For real,
As many
for
people and
real.
many stuff as we do, it's hard to get a coincidence like that.
Yes, it really
You
is.
do the math on how likely that to happen
It's like the lottery.
with people's schedule and time and all that. Yeah.
Hmm. Which I don't know if we want to answer it now because we've gotten in so much meat on this particular subject, but I do have a
hmm
question whether you want to decide to try to dig into it now or next time, but I want to at least read the question off because it's pretty good.
And before you do that, ask that other question one more time and see if I got any follow up on it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. This one says,
Okay.
once you find out things need to change, are there any steps you guys take to help project you in the right direction?
Right. So the first step was making up your mind 100%, being sure that you want to move,
Right,
not being inconsistent or double minded about, is this what I want to do?
right.
Make up your mind 100% that I want to move. That's the first thing. The second thing is to create the vision board. It says, what do I want? What are the characteristics of the thing that I want to go to? What are the characteristics of it?
Hmm.
Put them down in writing so you can visualize, and then you can see also what you like and what you don't like. As you write them, you begin to tell, you begin to understand where you at now.
Right. Right.
And once you do that and you get that clearly done, then you start using your imagination or your vision, if you want to call it faith, to say, I know this thing is going to happen. And you start just calmly being kind of grateful for it. I'm
Yeah.
glad that I'm getting ready to make my move. I'm glad that everything's going to work out for me. And at the same time you do that, you start looking. In other words,
Right.
I mean, looking for people, just like waiting on that thing to come to you.
Agreed.
Because the
Agreed.
universe will bring it to you. It might be a phone call, might be a fax, might be an email, might be a letter in the mail, might be a friend you ain't talked to in years, might be a coworker, might be a relative, but somebody's gonna call you. Someone's gonna come to you and say, "Hey, we got this thing over here. You interested in it?"
Hmm.
And before you know it, you'll look back and it'll be 3 months later. You say, "Hey, here it is. I'm doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm actually
You
doing the thing I wanted to do. Look at that."
because you're in the flow. You're actually not
You're in the
fighting the
flow.
natural flow.
You're not fighting the natural flow. And
Exactly.
I'll say there's one thing, once the thing that we want to do, especially in a job situation, start with the things that the characteristics you want the job to have to make you happy. Don't start with the titles and don't start with the money.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Because the universe is smart enough to know you need money. So if you want to feel good about yourself, you want to take care of your family, you want to be able to have some time with your family, the universe is smart enough to know you need money.
Yeah.
it,
It's
it
like
knows you don't need $2 a week.
right.
So
Right.
you don't have to tell it how much money you need.
Right.
You put the characteristics and you watch those things happen. And like 2 or 3 months later, you'll be saying, "Hey, I'm actually doing what I want to do."
Right. Yeah. You nailed it. You nailed it.
And once you do that and you go home, if you got kids or whatever, they'll notice that.
Hmm.
Boy, they happier.
Right.
You
Right.
seem to be more relaxed when you come home.
And then everything that comes
You seem to
after the
want to do
fact is
more
just,
things.
yep.
Right.
Right. Right.
So okay, so that would be the answer to that question. We'll end that one. Okay, go ahead and do the next one you had right quick.
Yeah. And it's kind of, this one's going to be a pretty hard one because I think we've all been there with this mentality,
Okay.
but how we respond to it's going to be on a person to person basis. But the question is, the universe seems to be in favor of everyone else but me. How do I get in on this universe love? Yeah, isn't that good?
Answer that question one more
Oh,
time.
it's so good. The universe seems to be in favor of everyone else but me. How do I get in on the universe love? And I think that is the best question we received so far, just because the simple fact that we all have that same thought. You know,
How come I never get a break?
exactly. It's like you see your
How come I'm
coworker.
how come we're never happy?
I see my family
Uh,
member, coworker, brother, sister, aunt.
mm-hmm.
Everybody is getting some love, but where's mine? You know.
Everything seems to be going for everybody, good for everybody but me.
Right. Right. So I
Okay,
think
yeah, that's one
that's
I'm gonna have
such a
to.
yeah, that's such a deep one. I wondered if you wanted to take that and think about it before we
Yeah,
record that one. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little research on that one because we all been there.
Hmm.
We all feel like sometime that the universe is cheating us,
Right.
or that we came here with um, less of a package than other people came with,
Right.
or came with a disability, so to speak, and
Right. Right.
it don't seem right.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll do some thinking on that one there,
Yeah. I have a
and that's
couple of
one
things
we'll
to chime
address.
in, but I'll wait till we actually get into the discussion. Uh,
Yeah, and that'll be what we'll talk about next week. Next
indeed.
time we do the recording.
Indeed.
Uh, but as we wrap up here today, I think that to sum this up, the question that we had today was basically, I gave basically the steps that I think you need to take to be able to move. when you want to make that move and have the
For sure.
courage to do it.
For
And
sure.
then too, one thing when you say everything to do with movement has to do with you have to have courage, confidence, and you have to have a little faith.
Agreed.
In other words,
Agreed.
you have to be ready to be a little bit uncomfortable when you get ready to make a move.
Right.
Everything not gonna be absolute, and I think uh, Raven was saying earlier that that's the reason a lot of people don't move. They're too scared.
Hmm.
They rather stay in the same place and be miserable for 30 years. Didn't have a little courage and find some joy.
It's the monster you know, right? You already know the monster.
Hmm.
Just deal with it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But the problem is that the monster you know will kill you after a period of time.
Exactly.
Because you can't continue to be unhappy every day
Right.
and try to fool yourself into being happy when you're not.
Right.
So it's going to lead to some other issues. It's going to lead to some health issues, substance abuse,
Hmm.
depression, marriage problems, problem
Hmm.
with your children, problem with just friendship or whatever. You cannot be unhappy on a daily basis, continue to just function normally.
Right. It's like,
So in the case of just go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, going through this life is basically like going through the desert. You have the ability to, before you pick up that rock, one person's going to pick up that rock and just toss it aside. The next person is going to say, "You better be careful when you pick up that rock because it could be a snake underneath it."
Right,
And that's the two types of people that walk this life.
right. The one won't pick the rock up because they're afraid it might be under there.
Right. Right.
And the other one saying, "Well, what do I have to lose? I'm unhappy anyway."
Right.
You
Right.
know, so I might well take the risk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but as we close, courage, confidence, and faith or belief in yourself is what it
It's
takes.
huge. It's huge.
Yeah, so that I would say that, and then, but the whole goal to this whole thing we talking about is, uh, how do I achieve happiness in this life?
Right. Right.
That's what we're trying to get to,
And each session
and
that
the
we have
different,
is. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and the different steps that we're talking about.
Right.
They all still outside of that happiness circle, and what we're trying to get people to do is step into that circle of happiness.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Because
it's possible. It seems impossible, but I can say that, based on my life and some experiences I had, it is possible to be happy. It is possible to achieve happiness. It is possible to achieve peace, but it's going to take some serious work. It's going to take some changing. It's going to take some courage.
yeah, for sure.
And like I said earlier, the biggest thing is my problem was I wanted to blame my non-success and unhappiness with everybody else. Well, if I didn't have this person bugging me, or if I had went to this school, if I had done this, or hadn't stepped this way, had done this, I would be happy. Well, that's a bunch of crap. That's yesterday.
Yes, sir.
That's yesterday. Yesterday, I said it this way. Yesterday is 1,000 years away, and 1,000 years away is yesterday. They
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
You can't reach back and grab it, no matter how close it seems.
Right.
But what we do have the ability to do is change today.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
And like I said, once we start taking responsibility, once we start learning who we are, and start learning, we talked about this earlier, who we are, who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? What are the things that I like to do?
Right.
What are the things I do not like to do? What I like for people to talk to me about? What do I not like to talk about? What are the things I believe in and don't believe in? You begin to learn yourself, And then once you learn yourself, you can put up boundaries when things come in that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll say this as we get ready to close. I was driving on the freeway the other day, and when you're in your alignment or in your rhythm, your lane's free, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody gets in front of you and they start weaving and slowing and hitting their brakes, you just move to the next lane, go around them, and get back in your lane, and you all good.
Exactly.
But the
Exactly.
problem is, you're not in your rhythm. You could be that person that's weaving
For real.
between the lanes, just going back and forth. You don't know where you're going.
Or that one person can set you off, and next thing you know, you're bobbing and weaving alongside with them, and they've completely
Oh
changed
yeah,
your.
if they set you off, that means you're not in your rhythm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in your rhythm or your alignment, you can see that person exactly what they did, and you say, "Hey, that's not me.
Right.
My purpose is to stay in my lane. I'm not finna get into it with this person because they got in front of me. There's
Exactly.
three lanes on this road. I can go around them, or I can slow down and let them go ahead.
Exactly.
I don't have to battle with them for 5 miles."
Right. Absolutely right, man.
Yeah, I have to battle with them for 5 miles just because they got in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And that's the sad. That's because that's the easier route. you know,
Yep, right,
lay on the
right.
horn and tell them like, what are you doing? It's like the harder
Yeah,
route
you
is to
know
be
that
like,
horn.
you know.
Yeah, anytime you blow on that horn, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because blowing the horn and land on it is two different problems.
Exactly.
When you land on that horn, something's going on. If the person behind you land on that horn, it's got nothing to do with you.
Right. Precisely.
Now, if the light changes, you happen not been paying attention, they kind of give you a little blow. Okay, that's fine. Okay, the light changed. That's okay. They kind of give you a warning, take off. But
Mm-hmm.
the other person wants you don't want to fool with.
Right. You're right about that, man.
All right, Raven, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. So we'll now, as we will go, asking that question one more time. That the next one we're gonna start with.
Yeah, yeah. The universe seems to be in favor of everyone else but me. How do I get in on the universe love?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And
Okay, that's we'll tackle next time.
indeed. Again, we'll have the email if you guys want. If you're more comfortable emailing us with your questions, that'll be in the description below. And we look forward to having you join us next time.